Hey everyone, week 2 of the fantasy football playoffs are here. If you're looking for fantasy football advice, look no further. Are you wondering who you should pick up off the waiver wire this week?
Or maybe you can't decide who to start and sit this week. Well, stay tuned. We got all the info you need to dominate your leagues.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. We're informed, unfiltered, and unmatched. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And as a reminder, you can join our membership program through YouTube. We have a promotion until Super Bowl, so that's about February. 99 cents for all tiers of our membership for life. 99 cents a month. You have early access to our shorts, early access to our episodes, and even when fantasy football is done, you'll have early access to our interviews with our athletes, fighters, baseball players, football players, you name it. We have a couple boxers. We have a couple guys lined up. And you'll even get early access to the Unfiltered Breakdown, which will be making a comeback where we break down the biggest MMA fights and boxing fights throughout the year. Also, you get access to our Discord, where you'll see a lot of X's crazy shit that he talks about on there. You'll see some of the members of the community going back and forth, Titans fans, Browns fans, Niners fans, Raiders fans. You name it. We have football, basketball, baseball, gaming. We have all kinds of tabs on there. One-on-one fantasy advice, and just a lot of fun. So all that's for 99 cents. Definitely go check that out. That promotion runs until the end of February or until Super Bowl, and then it's done. So if you're interested in merch, I'm going to be working on getting it integrated into our YouTube. So that'll be coming up here pretty soon. But we also have a link that you can get it directly from there. It might be a little too late with Christmas being around the corner now. So if you missed out on that Griff Rat Boys, it's a little too late. But don't worry, it'll be back next year. So there's always next year. And if you want some birthday wrap, we can definitely lay that out for you guys for maybe some of your birthdays in January and February.
Let's go.
So the last couple of weeks, I've been asking the community to send me some designs. So I want to make sure it's for the winners and losers of all the fantasy leagues. We're going to do a limited drop. So if I can get some more of your mocks, I'm going to post them onto our YouTube. And from there, we're going to have the community vote. And the highest winner and the highest loser will be made. And we'll put out for merch. Maybe, I don't know how many we'll do yet. We'll just see what the demand is. And we'll kind of go from there. So nothing's off the table. If you want to make it vulgar, if you want to make it crazy, you want to make it unicorns and pink, I don't care what you want to do. You want to put a giant poop with the toilet on it? That's cool too. Whatever you guys want to do, we'd love to see everything, and we'll kind of go from there. And as a reminder, we still got week 16 of Fantasy Royale. It's still live. I'm pretty sure no one's won from what I saw or what I've seen. I definitely didn't win. But if you get all the teams right in week 16, you win $1,000. Austin Ekeler himself will send you that money. I think it's via PayPal. So definitely check that out. It's free. It takes you about 30 seconds. And as long as you're 18 and older, it's free to play. And then check the link in the description if you want to enter that. One more plug I want to do is I want to remind everybody that we have our fantasy football draft episode in August. So this past year, we made a big mock draft kit. And I thought it was a lot of fun, a lot of good input, a lot of differences, some similarities. I don't know exactly who's all going to be involved in that. As of right now, for sure, it's going to be X and I. But look for that episode in August so you can get your early prep for the 2026 fantasy football draft. All right, in today's episode, we're going to cover NFL Week 15 recap. So we're going to look at the news of the games. We're going to do some Week 15 boom or bust. We're looking at PPR format. We have Week 16 injury report. We have our waiver wire pickups. We have our Week 16 start and sit at quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, defense. And next, we have our apology segment, which is created by X, and he's the one who kind of leads that, where we apologize for some of the good or bad, or no, mostly bad. The bad stuff what we told you to do. We apologize for that. It's getting better each week. I will say that, boys. It's been getting better.
I am sort of debating on maybe doing a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a negative segment for us, but I am debating on putting a little shout out segment maybe for us where we maybe told you, hey, start this guy. This dude did exceedingly well, like top notch well. And maybe putting that in there kind of boost our spirits a little bit.
Yeah. But that'll only be for one more week because fantasy season's over by week 18. So just some things to think about. And then we got our week 16 football bets where we're going to be looking at the money line, over, under, and spread. That will continue throughout the playoffs until the Super Bowl, and then that'll be done. And then we have our famous hot takes, which will be around forever. That won't go away at all. So well, don't worry, boys and girls, that'll still be around. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, we're going to get into our NFL Week 15 recap. So Thursday night game recap, we had the Falcons beat the Bucs. They won 29-28 with a walk-off field goal. Carolina, as a Thursday night, Carolina was the NFC South leader, and that only lasted, for a little bit. But they were the leader in the NFC South. So the Bucs versus Panthers in Week 16 is going to be a very big and important game. And also some very important news. Kyle Pitts absolutely went off for like 45.8 points or something like that. Yeah, absolutely just destroyed. That would probably be his big game of his career ever. So,
100%. But it was
yeah.
because he went against me. That's the only reason.
I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, you know.
Dude, it's my year to carry that torch, to carry that cross, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah, it's just
I've never,
unfortunate.
dude, I've gone like 10 plus years of fantasy playing, never having to bear that. And this year, it finally happened. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, well,
I watch people go through it like every year, and I'm like, man, that must suck. And now I'm going through it.
well,
So,
for those
yep.
who are playing Kyle Pitts in Week 16, I think you can safely be assured that he will not do that again. So next, the Ravens shut out the Bengals 24-0. You know, surprising because the Bengals, you know, destroyed the Ravens last time they played.
And the
Burrow
Ravens
recently
suck.
said before the game that this week that he just wanted to have fun. The question I want to ask the audience is, do you see Joe Burrow doing an Andrew Luck type retirement? And we'll save that for the hot take section, but just some things to think about because I like to give you a little hint before we get into the hot take section to kind of keep the audience engaged, you know. Next, the Eagles blanked the Raiders 31-0. I don't think that was a surprise. I think everyone kind of knew that was going to happen. So it's what it is. We move on. The world keeps turning, you know. The Texans whooped the Cardinals 40-20. Expected again. The Cardinals defense has not been very good this year. Jacoby Brissett's look great as far as for fantasy purposes, but the team in general is just not clicking right now. The Chargers beat the Chiefs 16-13. That's pretty big news. Chiefs didn't make the playoffs for the first time since 2014, but Patrick Mahomes is now out with an ACL injury. So he's done for the year. I don't know if anybody else is going to be done for the year. I don't really see a reason why to play at this point for them. But they're eliminated, and the AFC looks pretty wide open, in my opinion. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Next, the Bills beat the Patriots 35-31. It was pretty back and forth. I'll give them that. They did beat the Patriots at home. The Patriots were home, meaning like not the Bills, because we talk a lot of crap about the Bills playing away. Kind of raises the question, you know, are they pretenders? And we'll talk about that in the hot take section. But X and I have been saying like they need to play a good team to really solidify themselves as a good threat in the playoffs. And unfortunately, they've faltered against probably the best team in the playoffs right now for the AFC. The Jags beat the Jets, not a surprise, 48-20. But Trevor Lawerence threw 6 touchdowns.
For that team that started Kyle Pitts and Trevor Lawerence.
Oh
my
God,
gosh.
90 points.
They could have won by those two alone.
It's wild. For those of you who have Trevor Lawerence rookie cards, preferably rookie patch autos, like myself, sell it now. Now's the time. They might make a pretty decent run in the playoffs with Chiefs and Ravens probably not being able to make it. But you don't know. That defense is pretty good there too. The Commanders beat the Giants 29-21, which honestly I kind of thought the Giants would win. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's so weird. It's a divisional game, so I guess you can't be too surprised. The Bears put on a clinic against the Browns 31-3. I mean, Shedeur looked Shedeur looked pretty bad.
He is him though. He is him.
We'll talk about him in a little bit. We'll talk about him at the end of the show. But
we'll see.
He threw 3 interceptions.
We'll see how his Poppy did. We'll see how his Poppy did. You know, we'll get to Cam Ward here in a little bit.
Oh,
we'll see how Daddy Ward did it.
The question I want to ask is, what is going on with Cleveland's defense lately? Like they started off really strong and they've kind of fallen off. We'll save that till later. Like I said, I'm just setting up the hot take section, but these are some things I want you guys to think of. And if you agree or disagree or have comments, go ahead and put them in the comment section and we'll discuss about it, or we'll talk about it in the comments. That'll be a lot of fun. The Saints beat the Panthers 20-17. So now this is what I was talking about. So Carolina was the number 1 seed, right? The Bucs lose the Falcons, and then the Saints turn around and beat the Panthers 20-17. So now the Panthers are back in the number 2 spot in the NFC South. Well, why is this important? Well, the Panthers and the Bucs play each other this week, and the winner will get the tiebreaker because it's the first time they're playing this year. And it is for the division, for the number 1 spot in the division. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I will say that Mike Evans came back. He looked pretty good. No one expected him to play that much. So honestly, I think I like the Bucs. They're trending upwards right now, even though they just lost. Next, we got the Rams. They beat the Lions 41-34. Pretty good game. Both Devontae and Puka got hurt. More of it was on Devontae, though. Puka should be fine to play.
Puka always gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal. But Puka is playing this week from what I know. But Devontae looks like might be shut down until end of season, until the playoffs.
You know what? That would be the smart
non-contact hamstring. It is.
That would be the
smart. But the issue with that I mean, I am a Niners fan, but the Rams have to beat Seattle, right? I think if they beat Seattle, they'll have the number 1 seed. If they lose, the Niners can beat Seattle and become the number 1 seed. And I think that puts the Rams in a really bad position for the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this Thursday. That game is on Thursday. So there's the Seattle Ram game is a big game, and then Seattle and San Francisco in week 18 is a big game for that division because they can all just come down to that last week on what's happening there. Next, the Seahawks beat the Colts 18-16. It was very uneventful. I will say that. A lot of field goals. I think it was 2 lead changes and like within a minute, which was kind of cool. That was fun to see. And Rivers didn't play overly well, but honestly, I'll give it to him. It's been almost 5 years since he was in the league, and he's 44 years old, and he's a grandpa. So I'll give him that. I don't know if
I thought he played well. I thought he played
he
well.
Did okay.
Besides the last little bit, I mean, take that out, he did pretty well. If I was a Colts fan, I would feel okay. I wouldn't be upset. I'd feel okay.
I think I worry about the numbers. Like you can feed Jonathan Taylor only so much before the team defense knows what you're going to do. So that's my only concern. I mean, they're becoming very one-dimensional. So
Taylor should be getting majority of the work, though.
Oh no, for sure.
You put the ball in your best player's hands, and if it's your running back, then you do it. Derrick Henry could do it. There's no reason why Jonathan Taylor can't.
That's fair, but we'll see what happens. They play the Niners this week. Not a good matchup for them, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, though. The Broncos beat the Packers 34-26. Micah Parsons now is out with an ACL injury. He's done for the year. Now there's a lot of questions and a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about it in our hot take section, but a team that, I mean, they could still win the NFC North. I don't know. They play the Bears this week. But that's a big blow to that team. They traded away Kenny Pickett for him. So,
nonetheless, too, now you got to, unfortunately, the horrible question that you got to ask is, now did Jerry Jones make the right move?
I would say still no, because at least the Packers have a shot to make the playoffs. Dallas is 1% shot. Injury-wise, I get what you're saying, though.
You got 2 first-round picks out of a player that now you don't know how he's going to come back from a torn ACL.
That's true, but he's young. I think he'll be okay.
I think he will be too, but I mean, as of right now, it's a question.
That's fair. The next game, the Niners beat the Titans 37-24. Honestly, it was pretty one-sided until like the latter part of the game, where the Titans offense kind of started getting together. I thought that was kind of weird, considering that it's not weird because the Niners defense kind of can be really bad, but it wasn't like, it was pretty one-sided up until like the end, like the middle of the third quarter, and then Tennessee kind of started scoring.
The Titans are always good at the first half, and then they crap the bed in the second half. So if you watch the first half of the game, Titans were kind of in it for the most part, but then they just fell off. But as any good team does against the Titans, you just, if you have maybe a decent quarterback at best, you can throw the ball maybe twice and already score a touchdown. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Next, the Vikings stunned the Dallas Cowboys, beat them 34-26. JJ McCarthy hit the gritty on them. So if the Eagles beat the Commanders, it's coming Saturday. So they play on Saturday. So the Eagles can beat the Commanders. The Cowboys are done before even playing another game. So before they play on Sunday, they could be out of the playoffs. That's why they have a 1% shot right now to go. So that was really interesting. I really thought they were going to beat the Vikings. I think Jerry Jones just waited a little too late. Honestly, I think if he would have made that trade 2 weeks before for Quentin Williams, they'd probably be in a different spot. So that was the Sunday night game. And the Monday night game, the Steelers beat the Dolphins 28-15. So the Steelers are still the number 1 rank in the AFC North. Basically, it's them or the Ravens at this point. And I think someone has to win the division, I think, to make it. Well, the Ravens have to win the division. I think the Steelers could still make it in there, depending on how it goes. Going into week 16, before the games start, the teams that are eliminated from the NFC are the Vikings, the Falcons, the Saints, the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Giants. And then for the AFC, it's the Chiefs, Dolphins, Bengals, Jets, Browns, Raiders, and Titans. So all those teams have been eliminated. Cowboys are sitting at about 1%. The AFC, it's basically, I'll tell you right now, there's like 2 teams I think that are still in it, which are the Colts and the Ravens at 8 and 9. And then for the NFC, it's Lions, Panthers, and Cowboys. Dallas is currently less than 1% now. It went down. It's now less than 1%.
0.5.
So, yeah, it's pretty low for them. But we'll see how that all shakes up with week 16 games. Next, I'm going to get into the week 15 boom or bust. Really quickly, I'm going to kind of just go through some of the big booms that we've had. And we've already talked about this first guy at quarterback. Trevor Lawerence, 44.3 points, had an absolute monster of a game, best game of his career, 6 touchdowns. Then we had Bo Nix at 29.08. Kirk Cousins made the list, 26.92. Welcome back, Unc. Then we had Brock Purdy at 26.2. I wasn't very surprised. Bust, Xavier is going to love this. Shedeur Sanders, 6.48 points.
What?
Yeah.
No.
And your boy Cam's not even on the list this week.
Legend himself, dude.
Yeah, dude.
There's
Phillip
no
Rivers.
way.
Phillip Rivers is the next guy, 7.3 points. Joe Burrow, 7.5, and Sam Darnold at 11.34. Yeah, I kind of picked the guys that were kind of in a normal 10-team league that were there. So people kind of ask me, they're like, well, how do you pick them? There's lower people. I'm like, well, I'm not putting, Kenny Pickett. I don't think people actually picked up Kenny Pickett to start this week if you're in a 10-man league. So, boom. Travis Etienne, 31.5 points. James Cooks, the third. I apologize now because I told you said that, boy. 31.1 points. Travion Henderson, 30.1, and Bijan Robinson, 29.5. What do you know? He's always there. Bust, we had Jordan Mason at 2.9. The reason why I put him on there, even though he's the second stringer, is because people still start him. Doesn't make sense to me. Then you got Kenneth Walker at 2.9 points. And then you had Kareem Hunt at 3. That's pretty unfortunate. He had a touchdown streak going. And then you had Zach Charbonnet at 3.1. Unfortunate there for Seattle's rushing offense is not looking good and has not looked good. Receiver booms, you had Monroe St. Brown at 41.4 points. You had Puka Nacua at 27.9. Jameson Williams came back with a 26.4 game. Man, 2 Lions players in the top 3. That's crazy. Then you had Cortland Sutton at 24.3 points. Probably the last time he's going to do that this year, but still nonetheless, pretty cool to see him back there. Bust, I'm really going to enjoy some of these busts here. We got Alex Pierce, 2.6 points. That boy is not really relevant for Phillip Rivers, so we'll see what happens there.
Dude, yeah.
Ladidi McConkey, 4 points, bro. Lad McConkey. Yeah, it's rough for the Chargers. I mean, they played the Chiefs, but still. Oh, man, this next guy's been here a lot, man. I remember there was a time. There was a time where people wanted to trade Puka for Justin Jefferson, and yeah, it's wild.
Justin Jefferson.
Man, that's what I'm saying, dude. 4.2 points. Yeah, 4.2 points. Unfortunate. Next, you had Tatora McMillan at 4.5, and I had to put this guy because Xavier has a blood oath with this guy. Jalen Waddle, 4.6. Yeah. So,
but see, now my pact is complete. I'm done. So.
You're like, I'm out of the playoffs in every league because of him, so it's fine.
I've set him free. He's free to roam and do whatever it is he wants to do.
It's great.
I don't care what he does at this point. He could go.
That's great.
He could goose egg it for the rest of the year. I don't care.
Next, we have tight end boom. So we already kind of talked about this. Kyle Pitts, 45.6 points. Trey McBride, who I played against this week, 37.4 points. Then you had Darren Waller have a career resurgence at 25.6 points. And then you had Dallas Goedert at 25 points. Bust, Hunter Henry, 2.8. Dude, he's like the Quinton Johnson of tight ends, bro. He starts good. It's bad. Yeah. Brenton Strange, he's one of those guys I really like, 3.6 points. Jake Ferguson, 3.6 points. And Mark Andrews at 3.8. I will say, I think it's safe to say to not start Mark Andrews at all right now. I don't think you can trust him. Yeah. It's pretty unfortunate. There was a time when he was great. It's just, unfortunately, I think Lamar is just not playing too good. So that's all I had for the boomer bust. Next, we're going to get in the week 16 injury report, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that to X. X, go ahead and tell the people what happened. Happened in week 15 going into week 16.
So this one's a big one, especially for fantasy. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. Torn ACL. He's done, boys. Tyrod Taylor from the Jets got that groin injury. Jaden Daniels of the Commander, elbow, out for the season. If he could play, they already said they're not going to, so he's done. Running backs, Alvin Kamara of the Saints, knee injury. Devin Neal of the Saints, hamstring injury. Man, they can't catch a break. Woody Marks of the Texans, ankle injury. Chris Rodriguez Jr. of the Commanders, groin injury. Nick Chubb of the Texans, ribs. Bam Knight of the Cardinals, ankle injury. He
Hmm.
is done for the year.
It is.
Dylan Sampson of the Browns, calf injury. Bashol Tutton of the Jaguars, finger, he's out. Wide receivers, Drake London of the Falcons, knee injury. Devontae Adams, Rams, hamstring injury. Hopefully they keep him out, but we'll see. For playoff purposes, not for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr., Cardinals, it'll be a
He's
hand injury. T. Higgins of the Bengals, concussion. That sucks.
he should be back this week. I think he'll be back.
Garrett Wilson of the Jets, knee injury. Rome Adunze of the Bears, foot injury. Quincy Johnson of the Chargers, groin injury. Pat Bryant of the Broncos, hamstring. Luther Burden the third, Bears, ankle injury. Christian Watson of the Packers, chest injury. Ricky Parsons, 49ers, ankle and knee injury. Brandon Ayuk, they just don't like him, so he's not playing.
He's on the injury reserve.
Tight ends, we got Mason Taylor of the Jets, neck injury. Cade Otton of the Bucs, knee injury. David Njoku of the Browns, still with that knee injury. Defense, Micah Parsons, ACL, out for the year.
Yeah. I had to throw that Micah one on there. I couldn't help myself. Yeah,
that's a big one.
It's a pretty big name, pretty important. I think he changes that defense very dramatically. Yep. It's unfortunate. It was really fun to watch him play. All right. Next, we're going to get into our waiver wire pickups for week 16. So this week at quarterback, I like Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's just throwing the ball a lot. He's pretty consistent between 18 and 22 points. I think, honestly, you can't really go wrong with him. You're playing from behind a lot. It's just really good overall. Honestly, if you can get a starting quarterback to do that, you're pretty solid. Then you got CJ Stroud. He had a big game last week, but he's playing the Raiders, so I really like that matchup in general. I don't know how I feel about him going to next week, but this week he for sure should have an easy time, but that could mean that they sit their starters in the fourth quarter like the Eagles did, so kind of keep those things into consideration. Next is JJ McCarthy, only because he has one of the best fantasy football schedules right now. JJ McCarthy has the easiest schedule for quarterbacks, so I really like his schedule. Obviously, there's a lot of risk involved with JJ McCarthy because it's like, is it going to be the guy from week 8 with an injury and can't throw the ball? Is it going to be the guy doing the gritty on the Cowboys running for a rushing touchdown? You don't know which guy you're going to get. But, if you need one of those boomer bust guys, I mean, he might be your guy, especially if you're projected to lose by like 30. I mean, at this point, you get to go for boomer bust anyways. Next, you got Tyler Shuck. He's been putting up about 18 points a game for the last 3 weeks. So he plays the Jets and Titans the next 2 weeks. So I really like that matchup. So if you need a quarterback or maybe you have like a Joe Burrow, he might be more of a safer option than Joe Burrow right now. Next at running back, I like Tony Pollard. So I know, granted, like he played against the Niners run defense, which is not very good this year, but I know he's their starting running back. He's had back-to-back double-digit games. He might be a good flex depending on who else you got. So that's why he's at the top of my list. Then I got Blake Corum.
To be fair, he did get over 100 yards against the Browns, number 2 ranked defense. So,
well, and then that's the thing, though, as we kind of talked about, is that the Browns defense has not been good right now. So I don't know how much I could trust that.
Well, to be honest, though, it shouldn't have stopped against a miserable Titans offense. That shouldn't have been the game that broke him. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. It's just a weird situation.
For sure.
But either way, I think as a good flex option, especially if you're in a deeper league or, maybe you have like a Rome or a Luther Burden that you had in your flex spot, he might be a good pickup there.
I was going to say, maybe you just lost Bam Knight.
Yeah, I mean, if you need another guy, it might not be a bad pickup there. He should be available in like 50% of the leagues.
You lost Neal, Kamara, one of those.
Right. Next I have Blake Corum. So he scored double-digit points in the last 3 games, so I like him as like a flex option. I mean, the Rams are going to run the ball. Like, I don't think it's a secret. Like, they're going to have to do that, especially this week with Devontae being out. So I think he is a pretty decent play. I think he'll go over projection. I don't know how well he'll do, but in general, he might be a good pickup. Then Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt. So I know this next guy is really controversial because we've said to pick him up and he's played really, really bad. But he scored his first touchdown in a long time. He's definitely tough to trust. Like, I get it. He's more of a depth flex at this point. But with Chris Rodriguez being out, he is the guy, and the Commanders have nothing to play for, so they're going to be running that rookie at this point. So if he has a good matchup, I think you should play him for sure, and especially he's more of like a deeper league ad. And the last guy is Isaiah Davis. So he kind of took over for Breece Hall. Breece Hall is the starter, but Breece Hall's not getting as much work right now. I mean, they're basically out of it. So, I mean, maybe they're starting to look at some of their younger guys. I mean, they have been throwing to Adonde Mitchell a lot too. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. And at receiver, I like Michael Wilson. I've been saying this every week. He's still available. Harrison's out. You got to start him. He does really, really well. I mean, I know last week I was kind of tripping a little bit because he started off very slow, but then he picked it up pretty well. If he can get you 15 points a week, I think it's pretty solid for a waiver wire guy. Next is Adonde Mitchell. I just talked about him, but he's had in the last 3 games, his targets have been 12, 16, and 9. So I really like him as a good flex. The Jets have nothing to play for. I mean, their quarterback's not very good either. Good Cook, but at least he can. At least he's getting the ball. I mean, those targets matter, and especially if you need a flex fill in, like at this point, it's basically boom or bust if you're picking up these guys, and especially when it comes to fantasy football playoffs. Next, I have Jaden Higgins. So he had a tough matchup against Kansas City, but I don't really want to hold him against that. They're playing against the Raiders this week, and the Cardinals in the next 2 weeks. So they're playing Cardinals and the Raiders. So I really like that matchup for him, and I think he'll do a lot better. And then the last guy at receiver I have is Jalen Corker. He is the receiver for the Panthers. He's had back-to-back double-digit games, so just kind of keep an eye on him. He might be one of those sneaky guys that you can add in, especially in those 12 or 14-man leagues. Tight end, I like Harold Fannin Jr. No surprise, Shedeur likes to throw to this guy. And yeah, Shedeur still makes completions, maybe just not throws touchdowns, but he'll throw it to this guy. And he's pretty solid week in and week out. So I would definitely recommend playing him. This next guy hasn't been on the list all year. It's Colby Parkinson. And you're like, who in the hell is that? That is the backup tight end for the Rams. But with Tyler Higbee out, he is the number 1 guy there. And he's been doing very well. I think he put up like 25 or 24 points last week in fantasy. I wouldn't say definitely start him, but if you need a tight end, he might not be a bad flyer, especially against Seattle with no Devontae. So he's going to be getting some looks. The next guy is Darren Waller. I mean, I know some people can argue to put him higher. The reason why I didn't is because Darren Waller is very hit or miss. Miami's now out of the playoffs. They were still fighting for a playoff spot last week against the Steelers on Monday night. So I don't know what we're going to be seeing a lot from him here, but he is a risky boomer bust. But if you need to take a risk, he's the guy who's going to be the red zone threat. So, like I said, if you're down on your projections, maybe put him in there and see what happens. That's all you can do. And the last guy is Theo Johnson. He's still the safety net for Dart. He's a good red zone target and a good stash. Jackson Dart, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Giants. He looked good and then he looked bad. And, I don't know. He's gone through a coaching change. There's a lot going on for him. But if he has a good matchup, I would say start him. So for defense this week, I like Houston versus Las Vegas. Pretty self-explanatory. I like Buffalo at Cleveland. Cleveland's been playing pretty bad. Philly versus Washington. That's pretty straightforward. And then Minnesota at New York Giants. Minnesota's been doing pretty well, and I think they can continue to do very well. That defense is pretty solid. So it's week 2 of the fantasy football playoffs. You only got 1 more week, so you need to get stocked up, handcuffed. You got Christian McCaffrey. Definitely grab Brian Robinson. You have Devon A. Chain. Definitely grab Jalen Wright. And good luck. You got 2 more weeks, and that's it. So good luck out there. We're going to get into our starts and sits at each position. Starting at quarterback this week, I like Drake May. He's going against Baltimore. Baltimore's defense has been pretty Swiss cheese. If you go back in our episodes, we say that a lot, and it's true. They have not been very good. Kyle Hamilton's the only bright point in that defense right now. And I like Jacoby Brissett versus Atlanta. Jacoby Brissett, like I kind of already talked about in the waivers, he's been going off. He's pretty consistent, 18, 22 points. I don't see any way he's going to do anything different against Atlanta. Sitting, however, I don't like Jordan Love this week at Chicago. Jordan Love's offense, he lost Christian Watson. Micah Parsons is out for the year. I don't know. It just depends what kind of Jordan Love shows up, and I just don't want to risk it for the biscuit, especially with fantasy on the line. So I would sit him. Yeah, and then I'm sitting Bo Nix. So even though Bo Nix had a pretty good week last week, I don't think he does what he did to the Packers to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense has been very solid, and I would argue that's probably the better side of the football for them right now, even though Trevor Lawerence just threw 6 touchdowns. I really like Jacksonville's defense, and I think that Nix is going to have a very tough time against them. Ax, who you starting at quarterback this week?
So starting at quarterback, I'm actually going to run with the boy Trevor Lawerence going against Denver. Denver does have a good defense. However, I think Trevor Lawerence has really started to figure it out towards this last little bit. Yes, he had a great game. Normally in fantasy rules, that's normally followed by a really bad game. I don't think he's going to have a bad game. I think he's going to do pretty well. Is he going to repeat that performance? Definitely not. But I think he's safe for you to start right now. If you had Patrick Mahomes, you had to drop him, feel comfortable, pick it up, Trevor Lawerence. He should be on most waiver wires. Next, you're going to start Jared Goff against Pittsburgh. The reason why is because Amon-Ra had a really good game. As we said of our booms, both wide receivers were there. There's no reason why Jared Goff is not going to profit from that. That's still going to continue on, even with that Pittsburgh defense. For us that, grew up during the time of, Pittsburgh and the Ravens having good defenses, that's not the case anymore. And Pittsburgh's offense has been a little shaky to where it's hard to really trust it. I feel like Goff's going to have a lot of opportunities. You're going to sit Lamar Jackson against New England.
Ooh.
I do not like that matchup whatsoever. New England has a good front. They have a good defense, very stout defense. I don't expect Lamar's quarterback troubles to stop now all of a sudden. He did about average this week, but he's still not doing what Lamar should be doing. So next, you're going to also sit Stafford against Seattle. I don't trust that one. That's a division game. We know how those go. Stafford has really highs, and then he has really lows. And I'm expecting those teen-type points from him this week.
Yeah, I just want to back X on this. So he said to start Jared Goff, and I agree. TJ Watt, I think, is still out. So I think that should be very good for him. And Stafford has historically not played very well against Seattle. So because of that, I do think that is a safe sit. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but I think it's a safe.
Oh, yeah.
He's risky. Well, he's very risky.
Yeah.
So.
And we can't risk anything right now in one and done playoffs.
Definitely cannot. Next, we're going to get our running back. So starting running back this week, and you'll notice a little shift here. So usually we don't kind of give you the big guys, but now considering it's the final four in your playoffs, it's time to give you some big guys. Best matchups. I like Devontae Chain versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense hasn't been the same since Trey Henderson's been out. I think it's an absolute monster of a game. He didn't do terrible, but he didn't do great last week. So I think he'll definitely see a bump up this week. And then I like Bijan. So I know Xavier over here doesn't really like the boy. I think he's good. He's basically their offense.
Oh, trust me. Next year, I'm going to put him as a top running back and watch him shit the bed because I put him as a top running back.
That's how it goes.
It's going to be great. I cannot wait.
But Bijan's playing against Arizona. Arizona they're just terrible right now. So Bijan, has the opportunity to have a very big game. So I really like him this week against that defense. You're going to sit Judkins at Buffalo. I don't really think he has a bad matchup. I just think that he hasn't really been performing, and he's really up and down. So it's too hard to play him as your starting running back right now. I understand you might not have anybody else, but Tony Pollard might be in a better situation than Judkins is right now. And that's saying a lot. So really kind of just think about that. And then I don't like Ashton Jeanty this week against Houston. Jeanty's been up and down, left and right. Houston's defense is solid, like top 2, top 3. They're pretty good.
Number one.
They might be.
Sure
they might be number one. I know for sure they're top 3, but they're solid. Oh, yeah. So I don't anticipate Jeanty doing pretty good, and especially if he has little hands, Kenny Pickett out there throwing on the ball. It's not going to be very good for him. So I just don't like that. X, you got starting at running back this week.
Starting at running back, I got the boy Trey Henderson. We are not going to make the same mistake. He's going against Baltimore. Baltimore, like we talked about, Rod already talked about it, Swiss cheese. So he coming off a big game. I don't see his momentum stopping this week. Next, you got DeAndre Swift going against Green Bay. Green Bay might have lost Mike Parsons. You don't know what type of Jordan Love's going to show up. Might have a lot of opportunities. Bears are on a hot streak. There's no reason of why you shouldn't this week. You could feel very comfortable. You're going to sit Jonathan Taylor against San Francisco.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor has been having a bad second half of the year. I don't know what's happening. Phillip Rivers, I feel like now with the full week of practice, I feel like, they're going to feel a little bit more confident opening up the passing playbook for him, which normally the Colts do when they had Daniel Jones, all of that. They did a lot of passing plays. I'm expecting that to come back into existence and kind of test that San Francisco secondary, which to me is their weaker spot out of their defense.
I agree.
So I understand he's a big name. I understand you're probably still going to start him, but all I'm saying is make sure all your other positions are locked in if you are going to run with that boy. Next, Amari Hampton going against Dallas. Chargers right now, I don't trust anybody on the Chargers. I'm going to be completely honest. The only one that you could really trust is kind of Gatson, and even then, that's still up in the air. So really, when it comes to the Chargers, I would kind of just stray away from them, to be quite honest. And so Amari Hampton gets that sit call.
Starting at receiver this week, I'll start Jamar Chase, big name. He hasn't been doing super hot lately. A lot of that has to do with Joe Burrow as well. But T. Higgins is in concussion protocol, but I think when T. Higgins comes back onto the field, whether he's 100% or not, he'll be cleared, but I think that'll open the offense up a little bit more, and he should be getting some more looks, probably some more touchdowns. And Miami's secondary is not very good. And then next, you're going to start Nico Collins versus the Raiders, and you're going to kind of see a theme of any team playing against the Raiders right now. Nico Collins has been very solid. CJ is kind of hit or miss, but when it comes to Nico Collins and his fantasy numbers, he's very good, very solid, and I would definitely recommend starting him in all your lineups this week. You're going to sit Devontae Smith at Washington, and I know he's kind of like a receiver 2 right now. You know, there was a time when him and AJ Brown were kind of going back and forth, but AJ Brown's kind of been that more forefront of the guy. And I just don't like a divisional matchup for him.
Yeah.
So because of that, I do think they're going to use a lot more Saquon and a lot more AJ Brown, a lot more Goddard. So I just don't like him this week, and I wouldn't start him in your fantasy playoffs because I think it's too risky for your team. And then you're going to sit Justin Jefferson.
What? But he's Justin Jefferson.
It's I couldn't help myself. You're going to sit Justin Jefferson and the New York Giants.
Jefferson.
I mean, I hear you. You know, it's when he gets the Giants. I don't think he has a terrible matchup, but JJ just is not getting him the ball, man. It doesn't make sense.
No,
like he's just not getting a lot of targets. He's not getting the ball.
It's the same situation that we talked about before. It's not Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is a great receiver.
It's great.
It's the quarterback. It just is what it is. It's the same thing with Waddle. It was the same thing with Jamar Chase before Joe Flacco came in. It's not them. It's just the quarterback. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup, and I don't think you can trust him in your playoffs. So, fortunately, you got to sit him, and I know that's going to be hard for some people to do. But if you want to win, don't start that guy.
Okay. So starting at receiver, got the boy Sutton going against Jacksonville. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made that lost me fantasy game. So we're going to start the boy Sutton going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville does have a pretty good defense, but I think Denver's got to be down. I think they're going to rely more on the pass than they are with RJ Harvey and all those types of running backs. So I feel confident that the ball will be thrown his way quite a bit. So feel confident to start him. Next, I have Jameson Williams going against Pittsburgh. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be on there. You know, I don't fault Rod for putting Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has had a miserable season. So to put him on the list, I feel like is, you know, it's good to say, hey, put him back. But Jameson Williams against Pittsburgh, I don't think you're wrong with any of those wide receivers that you want to start. You should be good for Pittsburgh's reasonings. Essentially the same that I said with Goff. So, sitting, you're going to sit Scary Terry against Philadelphia. Don't like Scary Terry anymore. Yes, I know he got 19 points, but we all know how that goes. He does well, and then he craps the bed. So expect single digits, probably 4 to 5 points out of him against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is great defense anyways. Then the time has finally come. Alex Pierce against San Francisco. Alex Pierce is finally done. Put him on the shelves, boys. Drop him. Try and pick somebody else up. Alex Pierce is done. Phillip Rivers might be a little bit more throw happy, but Phillip Rivers is not a dummy at quarterback. He knows you're going to start to see a lot more production out of Pittman and Downs as we go on. Phillip Rivers is not really much of a slot guy. Even when he was playing, he wasn't really much of a, throw to the slot type of quarterback. He was a tight end, number one, number two wide receiver type of guy. So expect Tyler Warren to start to profit here a little bit. I'm expecting because, he gets those Antonio Gates feels.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely fair. I for sure don't think you should start either of those boys. So next we're going to get into our tight end. Okay, starting at tight end this week, I got George Kittle against Indianapolis. And don't get me wrong, I think the Colts defense is pretty good, but I think the 49ers offense is the high point of that team right now. I know they don't have Brad Ayuk, but George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Jawan Jennings, when it comes to Brock Purdy, are just solid. And it's just that I think that playing experience, and it really kind of, the team's finally together offensively, not really defensively, but I think he's going to continue to have a very good next couple of weeks, especially with them in the contention for the number one seed in the NFC West. Then you're going to start Kyle Pitts, and I know people will be like, oh, well, that's recency bias. And it's like, it is, but I think Kirk Cousins is just going to throw to him because he really doesn't have anybody else with Drake London not being there. The other receivers is Sills, and he's missed a couple wide open passes. But the point against Arizona, Arizona's not very good on defensively, and I think he's up for another big game. I wouldn't expect 45, but I think if he puts up 15 plus, you're sitting pretty good. Sitting, this is going to be hot, and I'm sorry because I have him in some leagues, but you're sitting Brock Bowers this week, man, and probably the rest of the season. He's playing against Houston. I don't know if Geno's coming back. It looks like it's going to be Kenny Pickett, and Bowers didn't really do anything. Houston is the top defense in the league, and it's just not a good matchup. So I would recommend trying to find somebody else with a better matchup. And then you're going to set Britton Strange against Denver. So even though Denver does give up some points to the tight end, Britton Strange has kind of been an afterthought with the addition of Jacoby Myers to the team. And Brian Thomas Jr. has been really picking it back up now. So that connection is kind of hindering into his ability to be available and get those passes and those targets. So I don't like that at all. Actually, you got started tight end this week.
Starting at tight end, I got the boy McBride going against Atlanta. Obviously, McBride is a top tight end, but I think he has a much more favorable matchup this week going against Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is kind of wishy-washy, and Jacoby Brissett, as you've seen before, loves to throw the ball like a wild man. So no reason of why McBride should not be profiting out of that. Next, you're going to start Travis Kelce against Tennessee. Why? Even though Mahomes is out, because Kelce is the safe option. So I think Andy Reid is going to emphasize Travis Kelce's usage, and the Titans love to play zone. And Travis Kelce is very good at finding the holes in zone coverage. So I expect Kelce to have a very good game. Sitting, you're going to sit, as Rod said, Mark Andrews going against New England. Mark Andrews should not be played for the remainder of playoffs. It just is what it is. It's unfortunate, but that's life. Next, you got Juan Johnson going against the New York Jets. I don't like that matchup. Yes, Shuck's not that bad, but Johnson, to me, he's just too up and down, too wishy-washy. I mean, there's other options that you might feel a little bit more comfortable playing against. And for some reason, the Jets sometimes like to really play defense, and I feel like this is going to be one of those games.
Yes. And then, so I don't have a graphic for defense because people still ask me, but we'll just put this one up instead. So starting at defense this week, I like Houston versus Las Vegas. I kind of talked about them in the waiver wire. It's the number one defense. I don't know if they're going to be available off the waiver, but if you have them, they should be pretty solid, especially if Kenny Pickett's playing. And I like Buffalo at Cleveland. I just don't know if I can trust Shedeur. I mean, Buffalo's defense isn't anything to be afraid of, but
you can't trust Shedeur.
You just can't trust Shedeur, I think, at this point, or that Browns offense, and especially with that Browns defense giving up a lot of points. So sitting, though, I am sitting Cleveland's defense versus Buffalo just because their defenses, they were doing well. Like up until the last couple of weeks, they were doing great. And they've kind of just fallen off. I don't know if it's because they're out. They just don't care. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the locker room, but I just don't. I think Josh Allen's going to have a field day. And then you're going to sit Pittsburgh against Detroit because, like we've been saying, TJ Watt's out and Detroit has been throwing the ball. And you got to remember, they also have Jahmyr Gibbs and they have David Montgomery. Like, they're very solid. So, and they're fighting for that last playoff spot. So I anticipate Detroit having a really good game this week. Actually, starting defense this week.
Starting at defense, I got Philadelphia going against Washington. I feel like Philadelphia gets good enough pressure to where Marcus Mariota is going to remember back to his Titan days. And unfortunately, he's not going to have enough time to really do much of anything. So I'm not expecting much out of Washington. And Philadelphia should get quite a bit of turnovers. Next, you are actually going to start Arizona against Atlanta. I don't expect that game to be high scoring at all. This is the one time where I actually think that Arizona's defense might actually do a little bit of something. And honestly, the only thing that they have to really do, to be quite honest, is stack the box, make sure Bijan doesn't break out anything. As long as they do that, leave it up to Kirk Cousins to try and throw the ball. He's been so hit or miss that I think that's your better option with Drake London being out. All you have really is Pitts. So they should be able to do that, in my opinion. Sitting, you're going to sit Tampa Bay versus Carolina. I know before I said Tampa Bay was going to be an amazing defense. They had a great matchup. They actually do. They have a great rest of the schedule, but the problem is they don't want to play. So cannot trust them anymore. Carolina's been kind of hot team right as of now. They normally are towards the end of the season. So cannot trust those boys. Next, you're going to sit New England against Baltimore. Yes, I know. I know what I said. I know what Rod said. But at the end of the day, as we've seen, Baltimore can sometimes, at least their offense, show up to play. Cincinnati just had a full-blown meltdown. So, I can't really say that the defense played amazing or did this or that. But the offense actually got a lot of opportunities to throw the ball. It's just find your luck elsewhere. So this is that fun time where me and Rod get to humble ourselves, get ourselves back to normality, get off our little high horses of staring into webcams and, thinking we're amazing. We got our fancy little mics, got our crappy little laptops. It's big stuff, big things.
Hey, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself on the laptop. I do not have a crappy system. Thank you.
Rod's over there spending millions of dollars, profiting zero. It's good stuff.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
But you know what? Hey, it's all for the future, boys. It's all for the future because we care for you, which is why we have this fun segment to stay engaged with our community and let them know when we might have made a couple questionable calls. So I'll give the start. I told you to start the boy Sam Darnold, who only got 11 points against Indianapolis. I expected a little bit more out of that. That was rough. Sitting, I told you to sit Matt Stafford, who got 21 points against Detroit. Didn't expect Detroit's defense to play that well, but it is what it is. Then I told you to sit Trey Henderson, 30 points against Buffalo.
Oof.
I should have known better. Buffalo doesn't have a good run defense. I should have known better. Next, I told you boys to sit Kyle Pitts. And I still have no regrets because I do not like that man whatsoever. But the boy got 45 points. He had the best game of his life. There's no way you could have known. Going against Tampa Bay, another reason of why you shouldn't start that Tampa Bay defense. Sitting, I told you to sit Travis Kelce. The boy got 14 points against the Chargers. 14 points for a tight end. That's pretty good. So,
pretty solid.
Got to admit to that one. I also told you to start Tampa Bay going against Atlanta. Don't worry, boys. We didn't make that same mistake.
Not this week.
Yeah, not this week. Then I told you to start Pittsburgh against Miami. I mean, come on. It was Miami. I felt really comfortable with that. I felt like I wasn't letting you boys astray, but I did.
Oh, man.
So for that and for all the others, I apologize, boys.
So for me this week is actually surprisingly low. I won't say that. I was surprised for the first time. I'm like, yeah, sit. Can you pick it? No, I'm just kidding. But this week I told you to start Joe Burrow. He only got 7 points. Honestly, that was kind of me just trying to manifest my team in my mock league or in our mock league to existence. He played against Baltimore, kind of shit the bed. So that was kind of unfortunate. I told you to sit Baker Mayfield, put up 20 against Atlanta. Granted, we didn't really know what was going on with Mike Evans, if he was going to play, if he wasn't going to play. So it kind of makes sense.
Shoulder injury, nonetheless.
But Baker's trending up, so I will give him that. So that was unfortunate. I told you to start Bucky Irving. He only put up 8 versus Atlanta. And I told you to sit James Cooks. That was a big one. He put up 31 points against New England. So
Yeah.
I want to say I apologize for those. Those are some pretty bad ones. Those are some pretty bad beats. But hopefully each week it gets less and less. I do want to say I think we are getting better. So
I think we are.
There's hope for it. As long as I keep telling you to say, can you pick it? We're good. Next, we got our Week 16 football bets. So we're looking at the money line, over, under, and spread. So the first game of the week, big game, is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by -1.5 right now. The total is 44.5. Wow. It opened at 47.5. I'm going to take the under.
Really?
I am, yeah, because Seattle has a good defense, man.
I know,
and I
it's
think
a
with Devontae
division
out,
game,
and it's divisional, and it's in Seattle, dude. That's tough. I think it goes under, and I do think that Seattle will win by that -1.5 because I do think Seattle wins that game without Devontae playing.
Honestly, I think the Rams win it. That's for you, Bebo. I think the Rams win it. I'm actually going to go over. I think this one's going to be a bit of a shootout.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we'll see. That's definitely a game that
that's definitely
going to be heavily
watch,
invested.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm heavily invested in that game. That's also the thumbnail. Yeah. For now, I'm going to change the thumbnail to something else after the game. Next, we got the Eagles favored by 6 versus the Commanders. I think that's fair, but I think I'd take that alternate spread at -2.5 because it is divisional and the Eagles can get weird. The total is 45.5. I'm going to go over on that. And I know that's weird for a divisional game. The reason I am is because the Commanders can score and the Eagles can score, but both of their defenses are very suspect. So because of that, I think it goes over. But I like Eagles at -2.5 on that game.
I agree.
All right, next we got Green Bay. They're still favored by 1.5 points, which is wild. Against Chicago. Yeah.
There's no way.
The total's 46.5. I'm going to go under on that total. And honestly, like, my head says Bears, and I'm not a Packers fan. My wife is, but I do think it depends what Jordan Love shows up. Okay. Like, honestly, I do. And Jaden Reed's back. I think they'll be okay. They always have the Bears number. Because of that, I do like Green Bay at -1.5 this week. I think they can get the win.
No, definitely taking the Bears. I'll do it again. Ooh, 46. I'll go under.
All right, next game we got the Bengals versus the Dolphins. Miami's favored by -1.5. No, I'm taking Bengals at +1.5. The total's 50.5. I'm going under because Miami has not been able to score, and I think Burrow can get his groove back and do very well in this game.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I agree.
Okay. Let me scroll down here. Next, we got Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 10 against the Browns. So the thing with Buffalo is Buffalo gets very weird with some of these bad teams. So I don't trust that -10. So I would take +10 on this game. But the total's 42.5, and I'm going to go under just because I don't know if the Browns can score that many points.
I will go. Yes, I agree.
Okay. Yeah. Next, we got the Bucs. They're favored by 3 versus Carolina. The total's 45.5. So if you would have told me this before Mike Evans came back, I would have said for sure I'm going Carolina. But because the Bucs have basically everybody back right now, I like them at -2.5. Maybe not in -3. I think -3 is pretty suspect. Total's 45.5. I'm going to go over on that. I think it's a shootout.
Oh, man. I'm going to actually go under, but I'm going Carolina.
So next game we got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by -2.5. The only reason why I'm suspect about this game is because if the Eagles win on Saturday, the Cowboys are out. So I don't know what's going to happen there. In general, I think the Chargers are a better team overall. So I'm going to take them at +2.5. The total's 49.5. I think I'm going to go under on that.
All right, I agree.
All right.
I'll buy it.
Next, we got Kansas City favored by -3.5 versus the Titans. Ooh, I don't know, man. The total's 37.5. I'm going to go under on that. It is Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Chiefs still just because Minshew has been a pretty decent backup. But I'll take it -2.5 instead of 3.5. Okay.
I agree.
Next, let me pull this up here.
Next, I will say I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans actually pull off this weird ass
for
win.
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. The next game, we got the Vikings versus the Giants. The Vikings are favored by -3. I don't like those full round numbers, so we're going to go -2.5 on the alternate. The total's 43.5. I'm going to go under because Vikings defense has still been good this year. And I don't think Jackson Dart does that well this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Next game, we have the Jets versus the Saints. Saints are favored by -4.5. I would take the -2.5 alternate on that instead. The total's 40.5. I'm going to go under on that just because the Jets have a third stringer playing right now. But yeah, I think the Saints can win that game. Hex?
I agree.
Okay, next game, we got the Jaguars versus the Broncos. Broncos are favored -3 at home. The total's 45.5. I'm going to go under on that. I think it's going to be a very tough game between two very good defenses. But because it is in Denver, I'm going to take the Broncos at -2.5, even though I really like Jacksonville.
I'm going to take Jacksonville, and I'm actually going to go over.
Okay. Next game, we got Atlanta versus Arizona. Atlanta's favored by -2.5. Ooh, I don't know, man. That's tough. The total's 47.5. I'm going to go under on that.
Yeah,
But I think I'm going to go Arizona at +2.5.
I agree.
Okay. Next, we have the Steelers playing the Lions. The Lions are favored by -6.5. And even though I think that's fair, Pittsburgh can get weird sometimes. So I'm going to take that at -2.5. I think that's a safer spread for the Lions. The total's 49.5. I'm going to go under. I don't think it's that high scoring as we think, because I don't know if the Steelers can score a lot.
I agree.
Next, we got Raiders versus Houston. Houston is favored by -14.5.
Ooh.
This kind of screams trap at me at that high of a point differential. I would say probably take -6.5 spread instead. If not, then maybe -9.5 at 10 points. But 14.5 is a lot.
Yeah.
X. Oh, total's 37.5. I'm gonna go under.
I agree.
Okay. Sunday night game, we got Patriots versus Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by -2.5. There's no way Baltimore's winning this game, in my opinion. I think the Patriots win +2.5. The total's 48.5. I think we go over. It's gonna be close.
I agree with the Patriots, but I'm going to go under.
Okay. Monday night, big game. We got San Francisco favored by 6 versus the Colts. I don't like that round number. I'm going to go alternate spread at -2.5. I do think San Francisco can get the win. The total's 46.5. I'm going to go over only because San Francisco's defense is not that good.
I'm actually going to go Colts, and I'm going to go under.
Wow. You're just trying to rage bait me. It's fine.
I'm not. I'm being genuine.
This guy. So next we're going to get into our hot takes. So the first one I got for you is it's a big game. We got the Bucs. Their playoff hopes basically rely on Sunday's game, in my opinion, versus the Panthers. And I mean, it's not really like a question. It's more like a statement. Both teams are 7-7. Both teams are 2-2 in the conference. So for the tiebreaker, it'd be head to head, and they play twice. So they play once in week 16 and then once in week 18. So basically, I think whoever wins this game is going to win the division. So I think it's a big, big game. And I think it is something that people should be watching, because I think it really is going to be a very good game.
I agree. My question to you would be who do you think, based off the team, based off how they're playing, who do you think deserves it? Not based off of who wins, just who do you think deserves it? Who do you think would go farther in the playoffs?
I think the Bucs are going to be better just because now Mike Evans is back.
Yeah.
Bucky's back. Godwin's back. They're pretty solid. It's just more of that AC joint sprain with Baker right now, but it looked fine. Like he was still chucking the ball.
Yeah.
So I think they will go further, but I think the Panthers would be the biggest dark horse because they're a team who can get up and beat some of these good teams because they have. I mean, they beat the Rams. They beat the Packers. Like they can beat some of these teams.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know.
I agree. I think Tampa Bay deserves it more. I think they're the better team. I think they have a higher chance of going farther, but it wouldn't surprise me if Carolina went in there and did exactly what you said and kind of just beat a team well out of their caliber, and everybody was like, what the just happened? Type deal.
I don't think the Panthers are Super Bowl caliber,
No.
I think the Bucs, depending on matchup, would be. But we'll get into that a little bit later because I do have a prediction section here today. So before I get into this next question, I kind of prefaced it earlier with the Joe Burrow. So do you think we're going to see an Andrew Luck type retirement out of Joe Burrow? So he's recently stated in an interview that he wasn't having fun right now and he just wants to have fun. But, when you're losing, getting injured, his line sucks, his offensive line, like Andrew Luck finally stepped away and made a decision like, hey, I can't be getting hit no more. Like I got to focus on my health over playing football. Do you think we're going to see that from Joe Burrow, or do you think we're going to see a trade? Like, what do you think Joe Burrow is thinking? I mean, we're just speculating at this point.
So I don't think he will be traded. I don't think the organization will trade him. Nonetheless, too, even a team that needs a quarterback, I don't think they're going to pick up his type of contract. Nonetheless, I think, and it comes out a lot that a lot of NFL players, they get a really low point, they get really depressed, they really like strike low. Multiple players have contemplated, doing the unspeakable. And so, they end up coming out in an interview talking about that later on, like years down the road. AJ Brown had talked about that. A lot of other players have talked about that. And so I think this is Joe Burrow's like mental health kind of screaming for help. I don't really think that, I mean, we could get in a whole TED talk about it, but we're not going to for the sake of time. But essentially, I think he's screaming to the organization saying, help me now, or, with a better line, with something, or I'm out.
Right. So then would you say it's going to be like an Andrew Luck type situation? I mean, that's essentially what happened.
I would say he's giving them the signs that that's where he's leaning. And so the organization better act very fast to
Would he be
that.
right in doing so, in your opinion?
100%. I agree. I mean, he's playing at a great level. He's got, he's doing big things. He's doing great, but when none of it matters if everything's not right upstairs. And I think that's just where he's at. His injuries, he's definitely a competitive guy. So his injuries are probably messing with his mental to where he's like, you know what? I'm not producing for my boys. I'm not producing for my team. I'm letting everybody down. Then you start to get into the depression phase, and he just needs to get himself right before anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as soon as I kind of saw the interview and kind of saw some clips online, that's like the first guy I can think of. Obviously it's like the more recent kind of big example of a higher end quarterback. But I wouldn't be upset if he did. And it's not, I love watching him play and I love picking him up fantasy, but I think when an organization isn't going to go out there and get you help when you're asking for help, there's only so much you can do. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to live with your body and the injuries or whatever it is that you put your body through. And at what point is money no longer worth it? And I think Andrew Luck made that decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Burrow did too. The next question I got for you is, who do you got in the AFC North? So right now it's just Ravens and Steelers. Those are the only two teams up for grabs. The Steelers are up a game and they have the tiebreaker because they beat them the first time. The Steelers' next opponents are the Lions, the Browns, and the Ravens. And the Ravens' next opponents are the Patriots, the Packers, and the Steelers.
I would say that
That's tough.
I would say that the Ravens have the better schedule, but I don't think the Ravens get it done. I think Pittsburgh wins it.
You think the Ravens have the better schedule?
I think they do.
The Steelers play the Lions, the Browns, and the Ravens, of whom
Lions,
they already beat.
Good team.
I think they lose.
Browns,
they win.
Team. Ravens,
and the Ravens, they can beat them.
Divisional game. Ravens have who?
Ravens have this week they play the Patriots. I don't think they can beat the Patriots this week. That's my personal opinion. Then they play the Packers. Hit or miss. We don't know.
Packers, hit or miss, yeah.
And then they play the Steelers, who they've lost to already.
So out of the two, Patriots, Detroit. I would say Detroit's better.
So the Steelers played 3 non-current as of today, 3 non-playoff teams.
Yeah.
And the Ravens play 3 playoff teams as of today. That's my only quip about it is that
I
all
get
these
it.
teams are in the playoffs.
I get it, but as we preluded to, was that the Patriots had an easy road to get there. So
I mean, that's fair. So
Yeah.
so you think the Ravens can come back and win that division?
I think it's possible, but I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. I don't think they'll do it. They'll screw it up.
I think if they lose this week, they're cooked. I think this week if they lose, they're cooked.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah,
for sure.
Okay, so next, so Trevor Lawerence threw for 6 touchdowns against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he can carry that momentum into the playoffs? And how much has the addition of Jacoby Myers been to that team this year?
I think he can carry it into the playoffs. However, most AFC South quarterbacks are known choke artists in the playoffs, and that goes even back to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was always known to be the choke artist, right? So AFC South is cursed with the choke artist quarterbacks. I could see Trevor Lawerence doing that. I think he'll ride it for the rest of the season. Do I think he'll do well in the playoffs? Probably, but he'll have a choke game, and it'll come down to the defense having to bail him out. Jacoby Myers, I think, was one of the best additions because, Brian Thomas Jr., he's been double teamed and he can't really do a whole lot. Well, now Jacoby Myers is coming into his own. Now they're starting to incorporate tight ends. So now you want to double team Brian Thomas Jr., doesn't matter now because now you got Jacoby Myers. You got Strange. You got ETN running for big yards again. So that offense is starting to fire on all cylinders, and it's starting to become a problem for defenses. So I think that Jacoby Myers trade was a great trade, and hopefully Trevor Lawerence doesn't choke. And if he doesn't, I think they could at least go to the championship game, probably not Super Bowl though.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how it goes personally. Like when I look at the teams here, so like I agree with everything you said on Jacoby Myers. As far as him carrying the momentum, I think he can. So if if they're in the 30 seed going into, say it's week 18, going to week 1 playoffs, he would be playing as of today, he'd be playing the Bills. So I don't like that matchup. But you never know. Chargers can lose, things can happen, and they can bump up. The only team where I'm like really worried from, in my opinion, is playing the Bills. Maybe Patriots. I'm not worried about the Ravens, the Colts, the Texans, the Chargers, the Steelers, or the Broncos.
The thing about it too is I think that Jacksonville, in my opinion, the only powerhouse of the AFC is the Buffalo Bills.
I agree.
I mean, everybody.
Scary team, right? The only scary team.
The only team that I feel like actually poses a threat to any NFC team. Now, you take a top NFC team and put them in the AFC, oh man, they would dominate everybody. NFC is loaded this year. AFC is like trying to scramble, and I mean, they're pulling out teams that got colored on with a dirty napkin with crayon right now. It's just kind of
well, I think unfortunately a lot of these good teams like the Chiefs, the Bengals, teams that we're used to seeing up there, the Ravens,
they're just
a little
crap
lower
the bed.
right now.
Yeah, they're just I don't know what's
injuries,
happening.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. I think I really like Jacksonville. Obviously, I don't think they're Super Bowl bound, but it'll be interesting to see how they do. And I mean the Broncos defense is good too, so you never know. Like you never know what can come out of there. So next we got, let's see. So this is the Bears game. Can the Bears beat the Packers without Micah Parsons on D and Watson at receiver this week?
Yes. I think the Bears can't win it. Because in my opinion, Green Bay is still a mess. They're still a mess on offense. They're still a mess just overall. And every single week, you have no idea what team is showing up. Are you going to watch this powerhouse monster go through? Or are you going to watch this disheveled, injury-riddled team that looks like they don't know what they're doing? So, and in playoffs, you can't afford that. You can't afford that type of team in there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I think the Packers, even without Micah, still can beat the Bears. They've beaten the Bears the Bears only beat them 3 times in 10 years. So that kind of just tells you where it's at with them. It's just unfortunately there's just teams that just always beat you. But their defense has been subbing out Micah. Micah hasn't played all the whole game. Like he comes out pretty frequently. So that's the only thing that I kind of hold out hope for Green Bay is that some of those younger guys and backups were playing enough that they can step up. But we're going to see. We're going to find out real quick how that first half goes. Like if the Bears are absolutely just destroying them, then it is what it is. But I think it'll be interesting to see. This game is basically going to tell you who's going to be win the NFC North, in my opinion. So it'll come down to it. Next, we got to talk about the dynasty over here. We got what do the Chiefs need to do to fix their team next year?
So
I mean, it's rough, man.
So talking to the lifelong Chiefs fan, as I stated in the last video, he's wanting a complete overhaul. I mean, if there's any time to do it, now is that time, to be quite honest. I mean, he's saying even a coaching change, to be honest.
And I know we talked about it last week, so I don't want to kind of touch on those, but I think more of like, do we think they should trade Travis? Should they trade Chris Jones? I mean, those are their assets right now.
In a player aspect, if we're just focusing on that, I would say, I mean, Travis Kelce will retire a Chief. They're not going to let him go. I think now it's time to start drafting for the future. They should have already kind of been doing that, but no breakout stars has really came of that. So I think now it's time to start fitting in those puzzle pieces. And I mean, if you could trade Jones, do it. I mean, get some draft value out of that. But Kelce, they won't trade him. He'll stay there. He'll retire.
I think
they'll call it good.
I think they need to go get a good running back.
They do need a good running back. I still think that they need a true number one wide receiver. I think they need to find somebody better. Worthy to me is not panning out the way that I think they'd hoped he would, even with Rice there.
Right.
Worthy's kind of a slot guy, but they got him in a number 2. They need to grab somebody else.
So some of the free agents this year coming up, you got Najee Harris, you got Austin Ekeler, you got Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's been playing very well. You have Javonte Williams. That would be an interesting one. You got Rico Dowdle. You got Elijah Mitchell, Nick Chubb, Breece Hall's a free agent.
Breece
Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins. Kenneth Gainwell's been playing very well. And then Kareem Hunt. And then some of the lesser guys.
I think Walker, Breece Hall.
What about Brian Robinson for the Niners? He's been pretty solid when he gets a chance to play. He's a starter. He was a starter in Commanders before they traded him.
What? Actually,
he's a hard-nosed runner. A younger Kareem Hunt. Less damage on him.
What they should do, in my opinion, what they should do is they should get Gainwell and they should get Breece Hall. Have Breece Hall be your bruiser. Have Gainwell be your Pacheco, essentially. And your Breece Hall be your Kareem Hunt.
I think I really like Javonte or Rico for him personally.
Rico's not going to go anywhere, and Javonte's not going to go anywhere. They're going to.
They extended Chubb a lot. They paid him a lot of money to be there. That's why I don't think they keep him.
No.
I think Rico's a better back, but
Rico Dowdle, there's no way he's going anywhere, dude.
They extended him, bro. They extended Hubbard a lot. They paid him a lot.
Doesn't matter. There's no way they're going to let him go play for another team out of the year he's having. No way.
Well, you want to hear some of the free agent receivers since you said they need to get a number 1? Okay. You got Mike Evans. I don't think he leaves though. No. You got Christian Kirk and whatever. Deebo Samuel's a free agent. Jacoby Myers is a free agent. Jacoby's not bad, bro. Tutu Atwell, he's a pretty good slot guy. He's fast. Thielen, Marquise Brown, Jawan Jennings is free. Jawan Jennings is pretty good. And then you got guys like Rashid Shaheed, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, Rashid Shaheed's fast, bro. They could really use him on their team. But that's kind of like the main big name guys. Man, Alex Pierce is a free agent too.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Keenan Allen. So DeAndre Hopkins. But there are some players.
Not really.
I don't know what else they need.
Change anything.
Well, if they want to go pick up, like if they're like, hey, we need to get an edge guy, Trey Hendrickson's a free agent, Khalil Mack's a free agent, Hassan Reddick is a free agent, Joey Bosa's a free agent.
Yeah.
There's some solid guys right now that are free agents. So we'll see
Well,
what
we'll
happens.
see.
I just think it's
Yeah.
interesting what people think. Like I think they should trade some of their assets away.
I think so.
I think they need to go get free agency. Basically, is I think they're going to be their friend,
Yeah.
and maybe they need to convince Mahomes to kind of take a player friendly deal or something like that. In my opinion, I think that's their best bet.
I agree.
So next, I got the Rams versus the Seahawks. That's going to be the biggest deciding factor in the NFC playoff picture. Who do you got winning that game? I know we kind of talked about it briefly, but who do you got winning and why?
I still think it's going to be the Rams. Seattle has a good team, but Sam Darnold, I like the guy, but we've seen what he could do sometimes. We've seen the choking that he could do. And Matthew Stafford.
I hear you.
Matthew Stafford has won a Super Bowl. He knows what it's like. Coaching staff knows what it's like. To me, they just have the better chance. However, I will say that Devontae situation does really throw a wrench into things. But the thing about it, though, is Seattle doesn't have a run game, and the Rams have a run game, and they have a pass game.
Well, I would like to counter you. Obviously, a lot of it is selfish with the Rams because I need them to lose. But if you look at the game more, like trying to take your emotion out of it more analytically, Devontae is that guy that allows Puka to be open because you can't double Puka and then Devontae's open. So now I think they're going to be doubling him. So now they're going to rely on guys like Tutu and they're going to rely on guys on like Colby Parkinson to kind of be open to kind of make those plays now. Because if I was a team, I would double Puka and then play everyone else in zone. I mean, at that point, because you just don't want Puka to get that ball. So I do think they're going to run. So Seattle's defense is really good against the run. They're pretty decent against the pass too. But the biggest thing that the Rams defense is really bad at is their secondary and their safeties. I mean, Detroit's putting up points. A lot of these teams, Panthers, have put up a lot of points. So I think Sam Darnold's going to air it out. So I don't think like the worst thing about Seattle is their run game, but Los Angeles' run game is very good. Their front four is great. Byron Young, you got Jared Verse, like Fisk, they're solid. Like they're pretty solid there. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to affect anything because I don't anticipate Seattle running the ball. I think it's going to be a shootout. But honestly, I think Seattle's defense is just good enough. And I think the biggest factor too, and I know it's not the Legion of Boom. It's not back in the day, right? When it was crazy.
Right.
But you are playing against the 12th man in Seattle and it's hard to play. There's a lot of silent counts going on. Like, yeah, they have the experience, but it's going to be tough, man. It's tough to beat Seattle in Seattle.
Yeah.
Especially in a big game like this.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, personally, I think they'll win. And it's only because Devontae's not playing. If Devontae was playing and even being used as a decoy, I think the Rams would win no problem, in my personal opinion. So
no, that's fair.
So the next one I got is, can Phillip Rivers take the Colts to the playoffs? You love this boy, so we got to talk about him. His performance last week, so I didn't give you the numbers. He went 18 for 27, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. So it wasn't great. He threw the ball. It wasn't really great. The Niners defense isn't very good, but besides Deontay or Lenore. But
I mean, let's be honest,
do you think
bro.
he can?
Coming off the couch, 44 years old, he's been coaching his team. The boy looks like you and me, dude.
Like, bro,
like let's be real.
He's chunky. He's a big boy.
he's the chunky monkey, and I love everything about it, bro. I love for all of us fucking just dudes out here, dude. Like I want that boy up here. Like I want that boy in MVP categories now. No,
that's
but
funny.
in all honesty, I think he is a good enough game manager to get them there with a full week. Instead of coming in like Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever it was, and then game planning and going on, not throwing a ball in the NFL like the entire time. Like, I don't see why he couldn't. I think it's gonna kind of be. I don't see why he couldn't.
Teams they play? Do you want to hear the 3 teams that they play?
They have a tough schedule.
So
I know they do.
they do. And the reason why I don't think so is I don't think they beat the Niners, but even if they did, they play the Niners, they play the Jaguars, and they play the Houston Texans.
I know.
So that's tough, bro. That's tough.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
That's tough, dude.
I think
it was going to be tough for Daniel Jones too. It
to be honest,
That's tough.
I think they beat the Niners. I think they beat Jacksonville, and I think they lose to Houston.
Yeah, no shot. I don't think they lose to Jacksonville.
I think
Jacksonville beats them.
I think they win in Jacksonville. I think they lose to Houston.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well,
to be honest, dude, it just all comes down to Rivers. If Rivers comes out and just starts lighting it up, I'm back on that train, boys. Let's go.
Oh, dude. Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think he's a good fill-in. I think he's better than what they had.
I think so too. I think if they were in a better situation and they were like locked in, like the division, they only needed like maybe one game left in the division to win it, he would have been perfect. He would have been perfect. Yeah. But unfortunately, they're not in that spot. Like realistically, they're not in that spot.
Yeah, I think NFL has them at 15% odds, even though they're a game above the Ravens right now. But the Ravens shot's like at 40%.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be tough because then you have Texans, and I mean, if Texans win again, I think that kind of pushes it even further. So,
that's going to be rough.
Mind you, it's more of like the Colts need to win out and the Texans need to like lose out or lose 2 games. So it's going to be tough. Yeah. The next one I want to talk about is, did the Patriots get exposed in Week 15? I think we can collectively answer, yeah. I wouldn't say exposed, but more of like
to a point.
Yeah, they're not. We needed them to beat the Bills they were at home. Like they should have beat not should have. If they were a solid contender, I think they should have won at home. It was a good game. It was back and forth. But a good game is not going to win you the game in the playoffs when you're one and done. And I think that's what I worry about with them, is that if they play a good team, like if Jacksonville has a great game and Trevor Lawerence is having a great game, like I don't think they win. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yes and no. I just think that it shows that if they were playing contenders a little bit more in their season, they probably wouldn't have the record that they have. I think that's kind of what it showed. Will they still make like a strong appearance in the playoffs? Yes. I also think that that's also due to a lack of good teams in the AFC. But I do like Mike Vrabel. I do like that team. I think this is a great stepping stone for them, 100%.
That's fair. Next one I got for you is, are the Bills Super Bowl favorites for the AFC this year?
Yes, 100%. They're the best team in my opinion.
Okay. And what about for the NFC? I think it's the Rams.
I would say Rams as well.
Healthy Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
What does Dallas need to do to improve next year? Like, what does Dallas need to do next year to improve their team? I am currently not liking their odds at 1% to go to the playoffs, or less than 1%.
I think for sure they need to retain Pickens. They need to retain Javonte.
They don't have cap. They don't have cap.
Then they're
40 over.
They need everything.
Yeah.
They need everything in the world. Everything in the world.
Yeah.
They need wide receiver. They're going to need running back. They're going to need everything.
Yeah, they're 40 over right now.
If that's going to be the case, then I really hope the Chiefs pick up Javonte. That's what they need.
Yeah.
100%.
I was going to say they need to use those draft picks and maybe try to trade up and get a good player. Not a lineman, but like a defensive player. Maybe like a corner or something. Next, can JJ McCarthy redeem himself this season as the season keeps going? Meaning, like, he started off pretty bad, got hurt, played bad again. He's done pretty decent the last couple weeks. He has a pretty easy schedule. Like, do you think he can redeem himself to the coach and be like, hey, like, I can be the guy for the team?
I don't think he redeems himself. One, I definitely don't think he redeems himself to the fans. I don't think he redeems. I think what he would do is maybe redeem one more chance to give him half of this next season to start. And if he does not do that, 100%, I expect the Vikings to pick up a quarterback and let him know your replacement's right here. Keep screwing up.
Like in the draft, or are you thinking like free agency?
Draft.
Okay. Let me see who's free agent quarterbacks this week or this year. So we got Jones, Rodgers, Wilson, Mariota, Wilson, Taylor, Flacco, Pickett, Garoppolo, Trubinsky, Lance. No.
Nope.
Teddy Bridgewater. Carson Wentz is still available.
No.
Okay. No. They might go with Daniel Jones. You never know. I think he can. I think if he plays well the next couple weeks and he can get some wins and show that they're flowing. The next part of the question was, what about Justin Jefferson? And I think it kind of relates to the first one because I think that JJ needs to show that he can get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And I think that is their team. That's always been the offense, right? If you can't get your best play of the ball, I mean, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of, I think that's the way for him to redeem himself for a shot next season is he needs to find out in the next couple weeks if he can get that ball to JJ. JJ has Justin Jefferson.
I mean, let's be just clear. The Vikings will never let him go. So
that's fair.
He's going to stay there forever. There's no way because you as an organization, you don't let a true number one go. Like you do not.
Well, no. So I don't think you understood the question. So I'm not saying is Justin Jefferson going to be redeemed. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that can McCarthy redeem himself by getting the ball to Justin Jefferson these next 3 weeks while we still have football?
No.
Like, is that going to be a redeeming quality for him?
No.
Because if you can't get your ball to your best guy, then what's the point of having that guy on your team? Not saying they're getting rid of Justin Jefferson. I'm just saying that it would give him that glimmer of hope to be like, hey, you got a shot. We can maybe work with you.
Because all in all, I remember Chris Collinsworth made a comment. Even though your number one is double covered, you still got to try and get on the ball. No, I wholeheartedly disagree with that statement 100%. A good quarterback will spread the ball and make the defense respect the rest of the players. And I think that's what they're looking for him to do. Now, if you have like a freak of nature like Calvin Johnson, where you could just throw the ball up and that boy is just going to monster everybody.
Also huge, bro.
Dude, exactly. That's a completely different animal. That's a completely different animal. But Justin Jefferson is not that. Like, at the end of the day, he's going to be double covered. So make them fear Addison. Make them fear Hawkinson. But he can't even do that. That's where I think the problem arises for him. And I think that's what the coaching staff is seeing, is that he needs, if you can't even throw into single coverage when you have Jordan Addison, who I think is a good wide receiver, you can't even make the throw to go there. You can't make the split second decision to dissect that defense. You're now running. It doesn't matter who's at the number one. It doesn't even matter if it's Calvin Johnson. You're still not going to be able to get the ball there. So I think that's where it comes into. So his redeeming quality would actually be to spread the ball, not to get it to Justin Jefferson the entire time.
Interesting.
Show the coaching staff that you can make that defensive coordinator have to fear everyone, but he's not doing that. He's just going through his options and seeing them covered, and then he doesn't know what to do, and then panic sets in. So I think that's what he needs to do.
Okay. I actually like that. I didn't even think about it like that. So that's a really good one. Next one I got for you is, can the Chargers be a dark horse in the AFC playoffs this year? In your opinion?
No. I like them. I like them when they're healthy. But right now, dude, their receivers aren't doing anything. Herbert doesn't have time. They're making shift of what they can. Like, it's I mean, they're winning, but they're winning really ugly games. And I don't think that's going to fly in playoffs.
Yeah, they're also infamous for losing heartbreaking losses in the playoffs. Yeah. I agree with your take on that. The next one I got, don't worry, we're going to get into Shedeur here in a little bit, in a couple of minutes. But I want your final prediction for the NFC and AFC playoffs. But before we do that, I actually have the graphic up so you can just look at it and be like, okay, what are we looking at here? So right now, the AFC, you got Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Steelers, Chargers, Bills, Texans.
Okay,
And
so
on the bubble is the Colts and the Ravens.
So for the AFC, looking at that, I would say the only one that could change would be Texans and Colts. But other than that, that's pretty much the playoff bracket. Ravens are not going to be there. So that's pretty much the playoff bracket. I'm expecting that. I don't
What about
think,
the NFC? Sorry,
NFC. No, you're good. NFC.
Okay. So you got Rams, Bears, Eagles, Bucs, Seahawks, Niners, Packers. So the Bucs can shift because of the divisional. Eagles would need to lose out, I think, and Cowboys would need to win out. Lions have like a 40% chance, but that would rely on, I think, how the Packers play. But I believe the Seahawks and the Rams for sure have a guaranteed playoff
The
spot.
only one that I could see jumping in there would be the Lions.
Okay.
That's it. Other than that, the rest of them are
or
done.
Panthers and Bucs, depending on how the game goes, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like my question was before, who do I think deserves it more? I'm going to say the Bucs.
Oh, for sure, the Bucs. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl this year, and who's you think is going to win of those two that you put together? So first, to start with this, like, what do you think the Super Bowl matchup's going to be this year?
I think it'll be Bills. Oh man. You know what? How about this? Let me tell you this. I never like to predict Super Bowls. I like to predict championship games. How about that? I'll give you that.
I was just doing it for the essence of time.
I'll give you the fact. No, it'll be quick. AFC championship. I think it'll be Patriots and Bills.
Okay, who wins that?
You're a dick.
But that's the question.
Okay,
who wins that matchup?
And I would say Bills and Rams, if I had to say.
Okay, and who wins? If you had to get, it's just an early prediction. We'll keep doing this throughout the playoffs.
Rams.
You think Rams? Yeah, I think I'm taking Bills and Rams too, and I'd probably take Rams. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Patriots. The only alternate universe that I could see would be Patriots and Bears, and I would see the Bears winning it.
I don't think the Bears make the Super Bowl. Honestly, no shot.
I think they could.
I'd rather see. I think the Eagles would be the next best bet. Honestly, I don't think it would be any of the other teams.
Eagles are falling apart, dude.
They are, but Jalen Carter will come back and they'll be fine.
Offensive coordinator's a joke, dude.
It's hard. It's hard to they won last year. It's hard. Yeah. You know, that championship experience matters. So.
I get it.
It's finally time. Okay. Shedeur Sanders, 18 for 35, 177 yards, and 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. Didn't play great. He's been up, he's been down. So what are your thoughts? I mean, you know, you're talking to the boy Hayden here. I mean, just be, you know, let's just call a spade at this point. You're talking to the boy Hayden. You know, he's been glazing Shedeur. He does something like this. You know, we talked about him being the franchise guy, him getting the opportunities. I still think he's a franchise guy, but you know, I mean, honestly, just what are your thoughts about it? Like, are you laughing? Like, do you still think Cam Ward's better than Shedeur?
You know what it is, dude? Is it's hard to be a conspiracy theorist guy because a conspiracy theorist guy never wants to be right, but yet he ends up being right. So you just end up sitting there. You don't laugh. You're not like, ha, I told you so, blah, blah, blah. You just sit there and you go, mm-hmm. So when I said that Shedeur Sanders was awful, I'm the conspiracy nut, and now it's coming true. And now I'm just sitting here like, mm-hmm. Yep. No conspiracy nut ever wants to be true, but, you know, they normally end up being true. And none of this surprises me. None of this surprises me at all. Like, I understand, as I said before, this is giving the Browns something to be excited about. I totally understand. But they're going too far in it. They're going crazy. Like, for me, I don't think Cam Ward is the godsend. He's a rookie. He's a rookie that had 2 offensive coordinators that went through a head coaching change, that went through 3 and now possibly 4 play callers. Bro, he's a rookie. I'm not expecting the world. Peyton Manning even did crappy as a rookie. Bro, I'm being
That's
realistic.
true.
This is what I'm being. I'm being realistic. Where people are going wild about Shedeur Sanders way too much, but yet not a peep about Cam Ward. Nobody cares about Cam Ward. Cam Ward is the most underrated first overall pick in the entire NFL history and will probably continue to be.
Wow. That's a hot take.
No,
That's a
100%.
hot take.
Look at how he was drafted. What did everybody talk about? Shedeur Sanders. Right? Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Cam Ward.
Cam Ward went one.
Nope.
Shedeur went
Who cared?
fifth round.
Nobody cared. Everybody cared about Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, who didn't even go. Nobody cared about Cam Ward. So that's why we as Titans fans, we're just like, hey, dude, it's cool. Like, go ahead. Shit on Cam Ward all you want. Cam Ward did great against San Francisco. I thought he did great. So
yeah, he's played better. Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective here, Shedeur Sanders against San Francisco we'll put it since this is fantasy. Shedeur Sanders with a much more experienced team and a better line, which Cam Ward is, I think, second or most sacked in the NFL. Shedeur Sanders got 10 points against San Francisco defense. Cam Ward got 15. 5 points makes all the difference in fantasy. Cam Ward
it sure does.
2 touchdowns, 170 passing yards, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks. For the most sacked quarterback in the NFL going against a Niners defense. Yes, they're injured, but it's a solid defense. And we know what Saleh can do with a defense, injured or not. He's still making the 49ers playoff contenders. So, once again, still waiting for a valid argument here.
Well, the reason why I like to bring up Shedeur Sanders every week is because of Hayden, but
I know.
I'm bringing him up because this is a good plug for a promo that we're going to do or for an upcoming show. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing the boy Hayden on. He's our resident Browns fan. You might have saw him. I forget what week it was when he was talking up Shedeur. And then I got Xavier here, who is a bona fide Titans fan. I don't understand either team and why they like their teams. As a Niners fan and as the moderator. So I'm going to call it the Great Debate. It'll be the Great Debate, Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. On my left on the left side of your screen will be Xavier. On the middle will be me moderating. Hopefully I do a good job. We'll see. I'll try my best. And on the right side, we'll have Hayden, and they're both coming with facts, pages, notes, college stat. I don't know what they're going to be bringing out, but they're going to be debating. And I don't know if I'm going to make it a standalone episode, like a bonus, or if I'm going to do it. I'm considering making it a bonus episode and releasing it early for the members of the YouTube community, people who have joined our 99-cent a month promo. I think that'd be fun before I release that to the public. But we'll be filming that probably around week 18. So look forward to that. We'll also do our normal episode, but this is a plug for that, where you're going to see both fans' perspective. And the reason why we're going to talk about it is because I put a poll out, because I think a couple weeks ago you said, poll the people, ask the people, I think you said the Titans were better off than the Browns or something like that. Going into next year, like you like the Titans. So I polled the community. At the time, this was as of yesterday, which is Monday night. So I asked, what team is better off next year or going into next year? Is it the Browns or is it the Titans? And 78% of the people said they like the Browns team next year over the Titans. So that's one of the things that I'm going to bring up. I know this is the thing that Hayden likes to talk about.
And I love it. And I love it because it only further proves my point of why Cam Ward has it harder and is still doing better. Only further proves my point.
And I think all this is going to segue into that episode where they're going to absolutely go in at each other. So if you want to check that out, it's only 99 cents a month to get early access to that. And eventually it'll be released to the public, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot more of these episodes next season as well with our members. And the last thing, honestly, I wanted to ask before we get into our outro is, what is going on with the Browns defense, in your opinion? Like, they started off great. I don't know what's happened the last 2 weeks, but they've absolutely like fell off a cliff and they're playing terrible. Like, it doesn't make sense. You got Myles Garrett, Mason Graham,
I
that rookie running a linebacker sick, Carson Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
He's sick. That dude's sick. I'll tell you that. He's sick. But they're pretty solid on defense. I just don't understand what is happening. Like, I'm asking you, like, do you think it's like a motivation thing because they're out of the playoffs? Do you think it's just like dissatisfaction, or do you think they're just so tired from always being out on the field that they're just getting eventually mowed down? Like,
I mean,
what
yeah,
is going on with them?
that's kind of what happens. And at the same time, too, like I will be fair with it that a coaching change definitely needs to happen.
Oh,
Like,
that's off the top. That's off the top
yeah.
at this point, hands down.
So I I mean, honestly, I think it's just I think it's partially a coaching issue, and I think the locker room is just tired. Like at the end of the day, they're just tired.
That's fair. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. You can watch this on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. You can also go to our website, which is www.encinasunfiltered.com. And from there, you can see our picks of the week. You can check out our episodes. You can check out our other shows that we have going on. We have MMA show and boxing show, and we also have some interviews with some athletes, both local and national. So stay tuned for that. You can check us out on our social media as well, especially for like your waiver wire pickups and whatnot. We have we're big on Instagram, TikTok, we're on Facebook, Twitter, but stay tuned for those. Like I said at the beginning, I've kind of dropped this off in the middle and the end as well. We do have our membership program. It's 99 cents a month until February. So you can get early access to like our great debate, Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. Get early access to our shorts, which I make, which are a lot of memes. They're a lot of fun. I'm going to get back onto that. You can get access to our Discord, which is one-on-one fantasy advice, gaming channels, just really a community in an area where you can freely speak, post memes. I mean, it's a little bit of everything for everybody. So check all those out. Check out our merch. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later.